For the first time in 2026, Raw hit the Netflix airwaves with the biggest episode of the year. A jam-packed episode that was Stranger Things themed and featured marquee title bouts up and down the card. CM Punk defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Braun Breaker in the main event, while Becky Lynch sought to regain her Women's Intercontinental Championship from Maxine Dupri, who emerged from those matches, as well as Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag titles victoriously. Find out what this recap of Raw, including our live ratings and analysis for every big match and moment. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom Michael Bullock. A lot to get into. We're not going to waste too much time because we don't have much time. Let's try to get this done as quickly as we can, gentlemen. Monday Night Raw, first show of 2026. We've also got NXT New Year's Evil, and we are going to preview the college football playoff semifinals. Miami versus Ole Miss, and Oregon versus Indiana. So with that being said, gentlemen, let's not waste too much more time. Let's dive on in. First Raw of 2026, the 1-year anniversary of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. From the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. And how about this? It's normal. We usually start the show with, as we all know, a elongated promo segment. But we didn't have that last night. We actually started it off with an actual wrestling match. How about that? As it was the first of the 3 huge championship matchups. The women's tag team championships on the line. The champions, Asuka, Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, defending against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Winners of the match, 16 minutes, 30 seconds, and new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. It is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. They win the titles. All right. First things first. What a great matchup here. This was a fantastic match between, as is the women's division's ability to steal the show. The chemistry was unmistakable. The flow was on point, and the finish was flawless. This is the hottest the women's tag team division has ever been, and it will be interesting to see who steps up to the new champions. But in the grand scheme of things, the women's tag team championships back on Team Red. Monday Night Raw now exclusive to the women's tag team titles as Rhea and Io bring the belts back home to Team Red. We couldn't be any more thrilled about that. So, but I know they're marked women. They got the bullseyes on their chests. So they've gone from the hunters to the hunted. You got Charlotte and Alexa. You got Nia Jackson, Lash Legend. And you know the Kabukis, they're gonna want a rematch down the road. But nonetheless, new champions, 16:30, 16 and a half minutes, the time of the fall. Nothing more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. 4 stars. This is about 4, teetering on 4.25. Excellent way to start it off. New champions. Monsoon, hit us with those magic words if you would.
Yeah, new champions indeed. History made, unprecedented crowning. It was a 4-star bout. I'll say it. It was a great way to start it. The fans were into this match all the way through. The outcome was actually never in doubt. I kind of feel like they got the right team, the right duo to win it. But like you said, even though Raw got the titles back, Anthony, you said it. The 3 teams, all SmackDown. You got Charlotte and Alexa. You got Nia Jackson, Lash Legend. Yes, you got the Kabuki Warriors. They're going to want the titles back. 3 teams on SmackDown hunting now to get the titles back on the blue brand. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. But yeah, you could have made an argument maybe for Kabuki to have kept it, but they feel like this was the right decision at the time. So yeah, why not? Let them take it. So new tag champs, Michael Bullock, 4 stars. It's yours.
Well, actually, first off, Florio, I have to correct you. The titles never left Raw because Kairi Sane and Asuka are a part
I just
of the Raw
remembered.
roster.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Oh,
right.
that's right. They did.
The Kabuki
Yeah,
So it
are
was
Raw. That's
on
right.
Raw Crime.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it's Raw exclusive either way. I'll take it.
yeah, so I just as soon as I heard you say that, I had to look it up first to see if you were right. And as soon as I saw the roster, I'm like, wait a minute, Asuka and Kairi Sane are part of Raw, so they never really lost. They never really lost the titles on their brand. But yeah, SmackDown is definitely gonna be coming for those women's tag team titles. I mean, I think the Kabukis could get a rematch. Charlotte and Alexa certainly make a case. Nia Jax and Lash Legend, those two from SmackDown. So yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see. So I do agree. It's 4 stars. Definitely a great way to kick off the first Raw of 2026. So it's yours, Florio.
All right. Moments after General Manager Adam Pearce suggested Gunther show some respect in his promo, amid additional eyes on this huge night of Netflix action, the Reign General entered the Barclays and immediately showed off his new Tap Like a Biatch t-shirt, immortalizing his victory over John Cena at Saturday Night's main event last month. Addressing the audience, Gunther asked where the respect was for him, which instantly brought out AJ Styles to a big pop. Gunther taunted the Phenomenal One, to which the future Hall of Famer responded with a nasty slap. You ain't gonna do nothing. Styles could be overheard telling the Reign General. That's what I thought. Nothing, Styles said before dropping the mic and exiting, leaving Gunther dismayed. A disappointing, uninspired segment creatively. Styles pulled Gunther's Punk card, which will only fuel Gunther to avenge the humiliation. There was nothing else to this segment. That it ended awkwardly, mistimed even, did not help matters. But something did come out of it. We followed it up backstage with Adam Pearce, AJ and Gunther did. And next Monday, Monday Night Raw, or should I say Monday Afternoon Raw? Yes, the return of Monday Afternoon Raw, because we got another series of international shows for a good couple weeks or so. Dusseldorf, Germany, the PSB Bank Dome. It's not a big dome stadium or anything like that. I looked it up. It's a 15,000 seat arena in Dusseldorf, Germany. A special start time, 2 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. Dusseldorf, Germany, Monday Night Raw. Here's your main event, gentlemen. Gunther versus AJ Styles. How about that? How about that for a main event next week? So, nothing promo segment, if I'm being honest. So if it's okay, gentlemen, I'd like to bypass that. But we are most certainly going to get into this. The return match from November the 17th, Madison Square Garden, when Maxine Dupree shocked the world and became the Women's Intercontinental Champion. This was the return match. Becky wanted her rematch. She got her rematch, and here it was. Maxine Dupree defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. Winner of the match, 11 minutes and 35 seconds. And once again, the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. It is the man, Becky Lynch, right on QMF. And I know as the heel commentator, nobody's happier about this outcome than you are.
Oh, and she did it effortlessly, grabbing the rope in the middle of a roll-up pin, the roll-up pin of doom. You can never, that's the only, there's no way to get out of that type of situation. Getting the leverage behind the referee's back, 1, 2, 3. And this is me mocking Florio by yelling history made. I won't go unprecedented crowning because it was not. But Becky Lynch gets her baby back. She gets the title for the second time in her career. She is the champion. And heartbreak for Maxine Dupree because of the fact of, look, they gave her a chance. They gave her the opportunity. I thought she was a fine champion. I kind of felt like she deserved a little more of a graces, but I think I know why they dropped the title. I understand why they're giving it to Becky now because I think we all know who's coming, waiting in the wings. It's going to be AJ Lee. It looks like they're going to start the program Becky versus AJ for the women's intercontinental title. This may lead us to the road to WrestleMania. This could lead us all the way to WrestleMania and eventually AJ Lee and Becky Lynch having the one-on-one match that we all been waiting for and I think it could be at Allegiant in Vegas, where we could see AJ Lee finally. She got her hands on the belt the first night when she came back on that infamous SmackDown on in Chicago, where she kind of took the belt home with her. This time around, not only could she take the belt, but the side plates is going to be AJ Lee's, not Becky Lynch's. So I think that's why they're doing what they're doing. So nothing more to say. 3.5 stars. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
3.5 for me. I mean, and I think another reason why, guys, that they had her drop the belt, and here's the other reason. Maxine Dupree recently just got married, and she's going to be going on her honeymoon. So I think that's the other reason why they had her the belt. I mean, it's not just because of the match that we all want to see, Becky and AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. So, yeah, those are two of the reasons why. I mean, yes, I would have wanted to see a longer reign for Maxine, but at least she got her moment. But like I said, the two reasons why I think they had her drop the belt, not just because of them wanting to do AJ Lee and Becky Lynch for that title at WrestleMania, but also she's scheduled to go on her honeymoon, so it kind of makes sense. So there's really nothing more for me to say. It's yours, Florio.
3.25, teetering on 3.5 for the effort. The latest match in their story did not have the heat behind it that their previous encounters did, but this may have been their best match yet. The chemistry that Maxine and Becky have with each other is undeniable, while the story they tell in the ring is as timeless as it gets. Lynch as the overconfident veteran, Dupree the underdog rookie. This time, though, the latter could not take advantage of the hubris, instead falling for Becky's cheating as the heel stole the title and the victory. And I do agree. It is disappointing for Maxine that her title reign ended after just one televised defense. But she is now a bigger star for having worked this program with Becky than she ever was before. And kudos to Becky for making Maxine a star here. New Year's Eve, right around New Year's Day, Maxine did get married to Anthony Luke, or as he's now known as Cam Hendricks in Evolve. And won't be long before we see him in NXT. Another one of the many standouts from LFG seasons 1 and 2. So there's not much more to say on that. All right, let's see what we have here. Couple of promo stuff here. Fresh off a World Tag Team Championship victory over AJ Styles and Dragon Lee in last Monday's main event, the Usos celebrated with the WWE Universe before cutting a brief promo from the stands in which they reminded the fans who the greatest tag team of all time is. They challenged everyone and anyone who wants to step to them in 2026 to close out the promo. And then from there, Jackie Redmond introduced the Women's World Champion, La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer. But there's a cause for concern, gentlemen. She was limping to the ring and her left foot in a walking boot. She cut a promo discussing her success last year before echoing the words of the Usos by saying she wants more challengers. And then Raquel Rodriguez attacked from out of nowhere and brutalized her ankle until referees and Adam Pearce put an end to the assault. Neither promo said much of note, nor were they original. In fact, both the Usos and Vaquer had mostly the same things to say. They were open challenges to anyone who wants a shot at their titles, about as generic of content as one could expect. In the case of Raquel's attack on Stephanie, then again backstage after the commercial, it was hugely effective. Raquel looked like a destructive force hell-bent on hurting the champion before eventually taking her title. It was a great way to build heel heat for a performer who has lacked that edge for some time. So definitely keep an eye on that. Then from there, it was for the first time in 7 months, in nearly 7 months, since that that injury, that out of nowhere injury that she suffered in a match against Io Sky last summer. Liv Morgan this was Liv Morgan's first match since that infamous injury. Roxanne Perez was in her corner. She went one-on-one with Lyra Valkyria. Bayley in her corner. Liv Morgan wins the match in an even 9 minutes. So Michael Bullock, started off with you here. Liv Morgan defeats Lyra Valkyria in 9 minutes in her first match since that infamous injury she suffered against Io last summer.
2.5 to 3 for the effort here. I mean, yeah, I mean, this was her first match since that injury, and it's a good start for her. I mean, obviously taking advantage of the distraction with Bayley and Roxanne, and hitting the Oblivion and getting the win. So, and there are some people out there who are, I mean, I've been hearing, Florio, that she is the odds-on favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble match. I mean, thoughts on that, guys?
Well, I will say this. A lot of dirt sheets have been going around saying that Liv Morgan is in line for a predominant match. She's in line for a big-time match at WrestleMania. And I believe that big-time match will be her challenging either for the Women's World Championship or the WWE Women's Championship. Because remember, whoever wins the Royal Rumble, they don't necessarily have to go for their brand's champion. Liv Morgan could cross over and go to SmackDown and go after the WWE Women's Championship if she wants to. But the bottom line is, long story short, because we got to get going here. Mm-hmm. Long story short, guys, Liv Morgan, predominant match, big time match at WrestleMania. I believe it's going to be a world title match of some sort.
Yep, I agree. So 2.5 to 3. So what's yours, Florio?
2.5 to 3. You're absolutely right. By default, the worst fight of the night, even though it was not bad at all. While it has been more subdued of late, this was the first major instance of Bayley letting her darker, more uncontrolled side get the best of her. Hopefully, this is an indicator that her multiple personality story is back and in full force. Liv Morgan looked good in her first match back on television, having an opponent like Lyra Valkyria, who as we all know, I've gone on the record and have nobody's been more higher on that young lady than I have, going back to her NXT days. Lyra Valkyria, one of the most gifted in-ring performers on the roster, does not hurt. There was minimal ring rust thanks to the live event holiday tour she participated in off screen. And Morgan looks like a competitor ready to seize the moment and make her presence felt in a significant way on the road to WrestleMania 42. So there is a very realistic possibility that Liv could end up winning the Women's Royal Rumble match at the end of this month in Saudi Arabia. Very possible. And if that's the case, does she go after the Women's World Championship? Or does she cross the line? Does she leave Raw and go to SmackDown and go after the WWE Women's Championship? I know MF would be licking his chops if she leaves Team Red and goes to Team Blue. So we'll see. But we won't know anything of that nature until the end of this month when we get to the Rumble in Saudi. So 2.5 to 3, I agree with Bullock. So MF, Liv Morgan, first match back, defeats Lyra Valkyria, even 9 minutes. Not a bad match at all, but because of the nature of the other matches, this was by default the worst fight of the night.
Agreed, and I'll give it about 2.5 stars as well. I kind of feel like it could have been a little better in certain areas, but it was a solid match for nonetheless. So yeah, really nothing bad to say, and yeah, it's all yours, guys. Let's move on.
You ready for the main event, boys? Well, when it comes to next week, the only thing that we do know for next week in Dusseldorf, Germany, the big main event, Gunther versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. That's going to be something. All right. World Heavyweight Championship on the line. The champion, CM Punk, defending against Bron Breakker, Paul Heyman in his corner. Winner of the match in 26 minutes and 40 seconds. And still the world heavyweight champion, the best in the world, CM Punk. Punk wore a blue and yellow varsity jacket, much like Bron Breakker's father and uncle Rick and Scott Steiner did at the height of their Hall of Fame careers. Significant hype surrounding this match, and for the most part, it lived up to it. Punk looked his age at times, and Breakker matched his inexperience in big matches at others. But for the most part, this was a good, hot main event bout that had fans hanging on the near falls. The run-ins with the Vision, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Penta were unnecessary. It continues that part of the story, but we could have gotten exactly the same finish without the overbooking. Breakker was booked solidly here, throwing everything he could at Punk before one small slip-up cost him his dream of winning the title that eluded his father. Great main event, though the lack of surprises, returns, or major angle advancement may leave fans with a sour taste in their mouths. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. Definitely the fight of the night here. No surprise with the outcome. At first, I thought Breakker was going to win the title, but that was when the match was first made. But then as time went on, I'm like, okay, maybe it will be Punk retaining, and sure enough, it is. But make no mistake about it, Bron Breakker will eventually get his moment. And I think based on what we saw last night, they're obviously saving it for a much bigger stage. That stage being either April 18th or April 19th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Because I'm going on the record right now. And you could put me on the record for this. January 6, 2026, 11:09 p.m., 11:10 p.m. approximately. You heard it from my mouth, especially. Bron Breakker is winning the men's Royal Rumble match. And then he's going to go after Punk again. And at WrestleMania, Bron Breakker will be the next heavyweight champion of the world. Book it. MF, it's yours.
I could see it. Definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see how they play this now, because I kind of feel like going in, yes, but we'll see. 4.5 stars, fight of the night for me. Yes, it wasn't perfect, but damn it, it was amazing. Great battle, great title fight, winner, and still CM Punk. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 4.5 stars. Definitely the fight of the night. I mean, yeah, the outside stuff did take some away from it, but not all that bad. So, but yeah, the outcome was never in doubt. But I do agree. I think Bron Breakker is going to become world heavyweight champion, and I think they're going to save it for WrestleMania. So, there's really nothing more to say. Overall thoughts on this edition of Monday Night Raw. It's time to do that.
And MF starts it off.
Very good show. Great way to start 2026 for WWE. Yes, I know there was a little disappointment because we were looking for maybe a surprise or two. We did not get that. However, good quality wrestling, good action the whole night through. You know, you can even say going out of 2025 with practically the best SmackDown of the year, to close it, even though it was a 3-hour format, it ended up being the best SmackDown of the year. Now you start off with a very good jump off for 2026 for Monday Night Raw. Yeah, this was easily 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very good show. I enjoyed it every way it went. So nothing more to say. And yeah, Anthony, it is yours. Let's go. Let's go. Actually, Michael Bullock, I'm sorry, it's yours.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, 8 out of 10. I mean, I thought it was a good show. I mean, I know some people are probably gonna have it lower than that because of the lack of surprises. Some thought maybe we were gonna get a surprise or two, but obviously that wasn't the case. But it's not gonna take away from a lot of the good that came out of this. So 8 out of 10. Florio, you have the final say, and then we get into NXT.
The opener and main events were great. Becky Lynch once again proved why she is the best to ever do it. There was a hot injury angle from Raquel Rodriguez and Stephanie Vaquer, and Gunther versus AJ Styles was set up for next week. All of that probably was not enough to win over the portion of the fan base that demands massive surprises, social media moments, and storyline developments every week. Still, this was a solid show with some great in-ring action. It kicked off the year on the right foot and gave fans a taste of what is to come from Braun Breaker in a main event setting. 8 out of 10. Couldn't agree more. Now, let us dive in to what we saw earlier tonight. NXT New Year's Evil. The first episode of 2026 had a big lineup for the New Year's Evil special episode, including 3 championship matches and a grudge match. Let's take a look at everything that happened on New Year's Evil here tonight. Show opened with a special video looking back at 2025 before we went live in the arena. Vic Joseph and Booker T were in the crow's nest instead of at the commentary to start the show. Thea Hale began making her entrance for her women's North American Championship match, but Blake Monroe attacked her from behind. She threw Hale into the steel steps and nailed her with a steel chair. As officials tried to separate the women, Ricky Saints' music hit and he made his way to the ring. He said it looked like that match would be put on pause, so he decided to give the crowd a gift by kicking off the show. The crowd booed and chanted names at Saints as he spoke about being the biggest star in NXT. He said no matter who leaves with the NXT Championship tonight, he is winning it from them. Not a bad promo, but it was incredibly generic. It was almost like you could predict exactly what he would say. Saints oozes charisma, but pre-written promos don't help that shine. And Saints said that Javon Evans was a free agent now. But the thing is, there was a segment last night on Raw that we didn't get to see. Javon Evans is Monday Night Raw bound. So that is a huge get for Team Red. I couldn't be any happier to have that young man on Team Raw. Welcome aboard, young man. You're going to do some great things. I already know it. So, hey, we didn't vote him. We did not vote him our breakout star of the year for nothing, you know. So he's going to have a chance to prove that on Monday nights going forward. As far as the Blake Monroe and Thea Hale situation goes, gentlemen, this was the classic case of bait and switch. We were looking forward to a rematch after that botcheroo finish a few weeks ago, but I think we know what happened. Blake Monroe is getting called up to the main roster. There is no question about it. She's getting called up to the main roster, and I think what happened here tonight was their way of, getting her out of NXT, and then before you know it, she'll be on Raw or SmackDown soon enough. Me personally, I'm hopeful that she'll be on Raw, but boy howdy, she goes to SmackDown. We all know MF's going to be loving that. So that is the story. So with that being said, let's get into our first official match of the night. Return match from Deadline. Izzy Dame versus Tatum Paxley, straight up one-on-one. No Shawn Spears, no Nico Vance in the corner of Izzy Dame. Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dame. Tatum Paxley wins the match, 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, other than Tatum's 450 not looking too good, everything else in this match worked pretty well. And Tatum Paxley has a unique character, but it feels like WWE doesn't know how to get the most out of it. She needs more growth. And one thing Izzy does really well is throw herself into moves. There's no hesitation or fear. So no surprise with the outcome here. You had a feeling that that Tatum would get the win back, and with the shocking development from later in the show, I still feel I think this I don't think this is over. I don't think this is I think this feud is far from over. I think we might end up getting a rubber match, because remember, it was Izzy who won at Deadline. Tatum got the win back tonight. They're 1-1. 9 times out of 10, when we have a 1-1 situation, there's almost always a rubber match. And with the big development coming up later on, I think we know what that rubber match is going to be. So, not much more. Give it about 3 1/4, teetering on 3 1/2. So, not much more. MF, Izzy Dame, or should I say Tatum Paxley?
Tatum Paxley gets the win.
Defeats Izzy Dame in 11:40. Your thoughts?
Like you said, I think it was a solid matchup. There was that little botch towards the end, but that's not going to really hurt it. This is about 2 3/4 to 3 stars. I thought was the correct rating. I thought they did a fine job with it. Really nothing more to add there. So Michael Bullock, it's yours.
3 1/4 for me on this one. I mean, obviously, like you said, Tatum gets the win here, and obviously they're going to have a rubber match, and who knows when. So there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on.
Okay. I do believe next up on the fight card, the NXT Women's Championship. On the line, the champion, Jacy Jayne. Fatal Influence in her corner. Defending against the Evolve Women's Champion, Kendall Gray, with Ren Sinclair in her corner. The winner of the match, 12 minutes and 34 seconds. And still, the NXT Women's Champion, it is Jacy Jayne. MF, classic case of so close yet so far away for Kendall Gray.
Yeah, and this was the right decision. You got to make her chase for this belt a little bit. Kendall did an amazing job. Like, this was a showcase for her. She really answered the bell here tonight. This was a great matchup. However, Jacy Jayne, the wily veteran, proves that she is worthy of being the NXT Women's Champion, successfully defending the title here tonight, and without a doubt, a great victory for her. But like I said, Kendall, you can see the glimpses of greatness coming from Kendall Gray. And like I said, she may be evolved, but trust me, guys, she will be the women's world champion maybe by the end of the year. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think she might be the breakout star of 2026. She might have the breakout moment. We'll see. She was definitely, she had a great performance. 3 1/4 to 3 1/2 for me. But like I said, the right outcome was done. The right, Jacy keeping the belt is the right decision. But I do believe Kendall will be champion eventually, maybe by the end of this year. We could say Kendall Gray could be the NXT Women's Champion. But this was a solid matchup. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3 1/4, 3 1/2. I mean, yes, I mean the champion stays the champion, even though we had some fatal influence interference. I mean, Lanny Reed and Fallon Henley getting involved. I mean, this is almost like fatal influence, basically saying, "You guys make the rules. Well, we'll break every single one of them," because Jacy, I'm sure she'll say she'll do whatever it takes to hold on to the title, and that's what she's doing. So now the question is, what's next? And yeah, Kendall Gray. I mean, I mean, she'll be champion somewhere down the line. I mean, we'll when in 2026, who knows? So there's really nothing more for me to say. It's yours.
Yeah. Tell you what, no surprise with how this played out. High energy match that made both competitors look like future stars. They really worked hard to make this a highlight of the show. Henley and Reed got involved to cause a distraction and break up an armbar, but Kendall recovered and locked it back in. JC escaped and with a little help from Fallon, she hit her finisher for the win. The ending was not ideal, but this is how Fatal Influence wins most of their matches. Everything else was fun and worth taking the time to watch if you missed the show. Solid 3.5 star match. So, not much more to add to that. There was a backstage moment. Thea Hale with Ava. She convinced Ava to let her defend the title in an open challenge since Blake Monroe was kicked out of the building. Ava reluctantly said, okay, yes. After Blake Monroe caused their title match to be canceled and got herself booted from the arena and banned from the building, wink, wink, I think that's a hint. She's on her way to the main roster. Thea Hale returned to hold an open challenge for her Women's North American Championship. She was looking a little worse for wear as she limped to the ring holding her ribs. She gave a quick promo saying she promised the fans a title bout, so she is going to deliver. The NXT women's roster came out to answer the challenge. Tatum Paxley showed up with a chainsaw, cut to the front of the line, but suddenly Izzy Dame appeared before Thea Hale and kicked her in the head. And then Sean Spears and Nico Vance made the referee get in the ring and call for the bell. So the match was official. NXT Women's North American Championship on the line. Thea Hale defending against Izzy Dame. Second tour of duty for Izzy Dame on this night. And the winner of the match in approximately, let me see here, in 10 minutes and 1 second, the winner and new NXT Women's North American Champion, Izzy Dame, makes history, wins the title here tonight. Michael Bullock, whoa. Blake Monroe, obviously on her way to the main roster. I think what they did with her tonight set that up.
Mm-hmm.
Thea wanted to defend her title. Izzy answers the challenge. Izzy may have lost to Tatum Paxley earlier in the night, but remember what I said earlier about a possible rubber match between Izzy and Tatum.
But
we got a title now in play for it.
But at the end of the day, and like you said, I mean, Tatum Paxley may have won, but Izzy Dame won the night because she is the one that walks out the new Women's North American Champion. Because remember, Tatum Paxley was front of the line, and we're thinking, oh, Tatum's going to take advantage of it. But Izzy Dame said, you may have won the match, but you're not getting that title shot. I am. And that's what she did. So, and you saw the end result. And, you know, a great effort by Thea Hale, but obviously Izzy just too much strength, too much power, and what was the time of the fall again, Florio?
10:01, 10 minutes and 1 second.
I'll give this about 2.5 to 3 here for the effort here. So, and Thea Hale's reign ends at 21 days, 3 weeks. So, I don't know, guys. Should we call her a transitional champion?
In a sense, but I don't know.
It was definitely transitional because of the fact that if you really think about it, Michael Bullock, she never should have been champion in the first place. She won
it, and it all goes back to that the botch when Blake Monroe was wrestling Thea for that title.
So I kind of understand why they did it. I'm obviously disappointed with it because I think we all feel like Thea deserved an opportunity because this is one of those, it was an unfortunate thing that happened. It was out of her control, but
Yeah.
if this is NXT way of course correcting, I'm not mad with this with this course correct, because out of all the people who definitely deserves an opportunity, Izzy deserves the belt. So I don't mind Thea losing it this way. I think a lot of people's not mad. I just hope that NXT will realize that they do have something, that they do have a diamond in the rough with Thea Hale.
Yeah.
That's all I'm just hoping for.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and like you said, you can't blame Thea Hale for the whole situation that happened 3 weeks ago. I mean, it was out of her control, like you said. It was just a botch on the referee's end, and it wasn't supposed to happen. So obviously, this was their way of correcting it and putting it in someone who actually has potential in Izzy Dane, and it's nothing against Thea Hale. I mean, so there's really nothing more for me to say. 2.5 to 3. It's yours, Florio.
Solid match, but it felt like a weird path to get to Izzy Dame holding a title. What happens with Thea Hale and Blake Monroe now remains to be seen. Although we believe that Blake Monroe is on her way to the main roster, and Thea Hale, maybe she'll get her big moment later this year, something like that. But there's not much more to say on that. So solid 3, teetering on 3.25. When we return from break, the men's North American champion and one half of the AAA mixed tag team champions, Ethan Page, in the ring trying to hold a celebration for himself since he had more successful title matches than anyone else in NXT in 2025. He bragged about beating Moose and sending him back to TNA last week. He said that despite Oba Femi and Leon Slater having an NXT title match, they're not the main event because he is. He also talked about how he has defeated people in many countries from many brands before he was interrupted by the men's speed champion Jasper Troy. Troy said he is out to prove he is the best big man in NXT, which brought out Josh Briggs to claim he was the best big man. They were soon joined by TNA International Champion Stax. Shiloh Hill also made an appearance and said he has an upcoming title match with Stax, thanks to Santino Marella and Ava. Tavion Heights was out next and said he also had a match for a title against Troy set for next week. It predictably broke down into a huge fight that ended with Shiloh Hill as the last man standing. Revolving door segment. That's all you need to know. Nobody came away from it looking better than they went into it. And that's all there is to say there. So we're not going to waste any time on that. Not a fan of revolving door segments, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. Set the table for next week. This is for next week on NXT. It will be Shiloh Hill challenging Channing Stax Lorenzo for the TNA International Championship next week. Lola Vice one-on-one with Kalani Jordan. Jasper Troy defending the men's speed championship against Tavion Heights. And in a no disqualification match, Joe Hendry goes one-on-one with Dion Lennox. He tried to recruit OTM out the mud to have his back to counteract Dark State. So see how that plays out for next week. Main event of the evening for the NXT Championship. The champion, Oba Femi, defending against TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. Winner of the match, 11 minutes and 11 seconds. And still the NXT champion. It is the Ruler. Oba Femi. But wait, there's more to this. But before I get into that, fight of the night for me, this was 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4 of a star. Leon Slater has been an exciting addition to the NXT brand since the partnership with TNA was formed. And this was another good performance he can add to the list. Oba did a good job selling for him while still appearing to be his usual dominant self. Good, clean match that ended with the ruler retaining his title. But what happened? It appeared that the show ended. Now, what happened afterward was they cut to a shot of Ava in her office with what looked like the Evolve roster, talking about opportunities because of Javon Evans, Trick Williams, Jordan Grace, among others, moving on to the main roster. And then Mr. Stone, Robert Stone, interrupts Ava and said, "Did you see what Oba just did?" It goes back to the arena, and you see the NXT Championship belt in the ring. No Oba.
What does that mean, guys?
It
Oba
appeared that
has
the show ended with Femi leaving the NXT title in the ring, possibly indicating that possibly he has relinquished it, so he could get called up.
And
to the
he is main roster bound, boys.
And then you saw Tony D'Angelo looking at it from the crowd.
Are we looking at
3 3/4 for the match? Fight of the night, 11-11, time of the fall. MF, I believe for all intents and purposes, I think we're going to have to find a new NXT champion. Looks like the ruler has relinquished his crown.
I was going to say there's a lot to dissect, there's a lot to unpack, and there's a lot of questions coming out. One, yes, the ruler has relinquished the title. He is gone. He is heading to the main roster. And I believe, boys, he is SmackDown bound because of the thing with because of the situation that happened on Saturday night's main event between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. I do believe that Oba is heading to SmackDown because of what went down there. And let me tell you, I am ready to ring the ruler over to the blue brand. Yeah, you got Javon Evans, Florio. We're about to get over Femi. We're about to trump your card on that one.
And I think Drew McIntyre better have eyes in the back of his head because I think the ruler's going to come for him.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be in a very angry mood as well. He's gonna be in a very angry state,
especially after what happened on Saturday night's main event.
Absolutely. Okay. Let me continue. Second, I do believe that this does leave the door open for some kind of tournament or some kind of situation to bring out down the line where we're gonna have possibly a title defense or something down the line, which may open the door for us to see maybe, just maybe, Tony D'Angelo possibly walking out of here as the next NXT champion. You know, Tony D'Angelo's been the one that he's been North American champion. The one title that's kind of eluded him in his career has been NXT title. And I really believe that maybe this is the moment where Tony D'Angelo, takes his rightful step where he believes he belongs as the next NXT champion. So we'll see. But yes, Oba, if this is indeed your final night on NXT, thank you for everything you have done for NXT, for being one of the pillars after this new era of NXT. Your job is done, my friend, and I cannot wait to see you very soon on the blue brand on SmackDown Live, because I'm almost certain you're going SmackDown bound, my friend. So nothing more to say. This was easily 3.5 stars. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.5, 3 3/4. Like you said, fight of the night. I mean, Leon Slater definitely gave it all that he had, but the champion stays the champion. And like you said, with everything that developed at the end, he is main roster bound. And I think he's going to go to SmackDown. And all I could say is to you, Drew McIntyre, I don't think you want to be anywhere near Oba Femi, because Oba hasn't forgotten about Saturday night's main event when it looked like maybe the ruler looked like maybe he was going to pull off the upset of Cody Rhodes until you stuck your nose where it didn't belong, and you paid for it not only thanks to Cody Rhodes, but Obafemi laid your ass out. And yeah, so the ruler may be coming for you. So yeah, so nothing more to say. Overall thoughts.
And I do believe MF once again starts it. So, MF, your overall thoughts on New Year's Evil?
New Year's Evil was a solid show. I thought they did a really good job. Obviously, some fans are going to be a little disappointed with some of the outcome, not everything. Obviously, the Thea Hale situation, again, not her fault. She just made do with what she had in the opportunity. Great moment for Izzy Dane now. Obviously, with Skylar Gray, her Renson, Skylar Gray.
And Kendall Gray.
Kendall Gray, sorry. Skylar. Kendall Gray, star is born in this one. I think she's going to be a future breakout, and I do believe she will be breaking out in 2026. So, I mean, you got that. All in all, it was a fun show. I will say this, though. I know we had that throwaway segment where that revolving door, but I will say this. Ariana Grace deserves at least a little bit of some love here, because to get teeth falling on her by Hill, like, bro, yuck. I felt for the baby girl. She freaked out when she saw that teeth fly right.
Well, I'm sure Santino must have gotten a laugh out of it after.
Santino's probably rewinding that back, fast forwarding it, rewinding it back, fast forwarding it to the
after
clip.
After Ariana Grace humiliated him and probably like,
she
got exactly what she deserved.
She got an embarrassing moment here tonight, and I'm telling you, the memes and the internet is exploding right now. Poor Ariana is getting dragged through the mud tonight with that one. So so that was quite a segment. We'll say that, but I'm excited for next week. And as far as first NXT of the year, I'll say about another 8. I thought they did a pretty good job. So nothing more to say, Mr. NXT, Michael Bullock. It's all yours, my friend. Good, pretty good start for your black and gold brand in 2026. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me as well. I mean, like you said, a good start for the first NXT of 2026. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. So, it's yours, Real, before we get into the college football playoff semifinals.
New Year's Evil was kind of a weird episode, but it definitely had some highlights worth checking out. Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley put on a fun performance, and Obafemi and Leon Slater closed the show with a match that showed off the strengths of both men. Having Blake Monroe cost herself a title match only for Izzy to swoop in and win the North American Championship in an open challenge was an unexpected direction for the show to take, especially after it seemed like Hale might get to hold on to the belt a little longer. NXT has a lot of great talent, but the show is often inconsistent with booking at times. If they can figure that out, 2026 could be a good year for this brand. And as we saw at the end, it appeared that the show ended with Obafemi leaving the NXT title in the ring, possibly indicating that he is relinquishing it to go to Raw or SmackDown. Tony D was shown looking at it from the crowd. I'm going to go 7.5 to 8 out of 10, but it was still a good show. I definitely agree with that. So with that being said, let us now get into the semifinals of the college football playoff. It starts on Thursday night at around 7:30, 8 o'clock on ESPN, as it will be the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. 7:30 on Thursday night, State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. It will be the number 6 seed Ole Miss Rebels squaring off against the number 10 seed Miami Hurricanes on ESPN. And believe it or not, this is going to be Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, and Laura Rutledge. I'm a little surprised by this, by the announcer pairing. I thought Chris and Herbie would have had the other one, but okay. Interesting enough, but anyways, Miami opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Ole Miss stunned Georgia 39-34 in the Sugar Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, behind an incredible effort from quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, who led a second-half comeback with 362 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Pete Golding, who replaced Lane Kiffin after the coach left for LSU, has a chance to lead the Rebels to the College Football Playoff National Championship game for the first time in school history. Miami made a program statement with a 24-14 victory over number 2 seed Ohio State in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Carson Beck averages 120.5 passing yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions in 2 playoff games. Ruben Bain Jr. and Akeem Mesidor have led a nasty defense that has allowed 8.5 points through 2 playoff games. Coach Mario Cristobal has a chance to push the Hurricanes to their first national championship game since 2003, which was also at the Fiesta Bowl. Miami's pass rush wrecked the Ohio State game plan in the college football playoff quarterfinals. Bain has 4 of the Hurricanes' 12 sacks in the playoff. Mesidor has 3 sacks in those 2 games, and they have combined for 26 pressures. Trinidad Chambliss, however, presents a different challenge with his escapability outside the pocket. That pass rush will have to land, and Chambliss made Georgia pay with receivers Harrison Wallace III and Dejon Stribling. How many risks will Chambliss take against the Miami secondary that features Bryce Fitzgerald with 6 picks, Jacoby Thomas with 5 picks, and Keontae Scott with 2 picks, who had the game-turning pick 6 against Ohio State? The other piece is Kawan Lacey, tough running back who has played through a shoulder injury the last 2 games. Rebels are a different challenge from Miami defensive coordinator Corey Heatherman. Miami will attack Georgia with Mark Fletcher Jr., a tough inside runner who will try to attack the middle with defensive tackles Xavier Harris and Will Eccles. Sonatrine Perkins and Princewell Umamelan add to that pass rush. Malachi Tony and C.J. Daniels will challenge the Ole Miss secondary in the passing game. How will Carson Beck handle the opportunity to get to the college football playoff title game? Beck has thrown only 1 interception since the 26-20 loss at SMU on November 1, and he has great protection from an offensive line led by Francis Mauigoa. Miami has not allowed more than 26 points in a game this season, but they have not faced a quarterback like Chambliss either. I believe this is where the matchup will be decided. Chambliss passed for 300 or more yards in 4 of Ole Miss's last 5 games, and the Rebels are riding the same momentum wave as the Hurricanes. It makes for an almost impossible choice. But if I'm going to be honest here, I got to go with Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss pulls this one out. I'm going to say 27-24. Ole Miss defeats Miami, keeps this Cinderella story going, and moves on to the championship game and 1 win away from sticking it to Lane Kiffin. So what a story that would be for them. I think they can do it. Would I be surprised if Miami wins? Certainly not. But I got to go with Ole Miss. I got to go with, I think they have the momentum here, especially Trinidad Chambliss. So 27-24, give me Ole Miss to defeat Miami in the Fiesta Bowl. Not much more to say. MF. Number 6 seed Ole Miss, number 10 seed Miami, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. I got Ole Miss winning. Who you got?
I disagree. I'm going Miami. And it's because I think Chambliss has not faced the defense like Miami. And the thing is, yes, he's in the SEC. He's faced some good, but he never got to face Alabama. He never got to go up against Georgia. He never really got tested until now. Miami's D proved that they can play and that they deserve to be where they are right now. Everybody's been hyping about how the U is back. The U is back. They're not all the way back until they win the national championship. Mario Cristobal and his team is focused. They're ready. And now more than ever, they are geared in, locked in to possibly win this title. So for me, I got really nothing more to say. Miami wins. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
So I get the tiebreaker here. So, man, this is a tough one for me to call. I mean, look, Miami's coming in with momentum because, I mean, after dethroning Ohio State and nobody enjoyed it more than good old MF Michael Fletcher because not only because it's his team in the U, but because of who they defeated, and that's our rivals from Michigan, the Ohio State Buckeyes. And yeah, so they're coming in with momentum, but Ole Miss has momentum too because not many people gave them a chance against Georgia. So this is one that could go either way, but I got to give the slight edge to Miami. I mean, they defeated the defending national champions where everybody thought Ohio State was going to repeat. It was, oh, Ohio State's going to repeat, but Miami just made a statement in that game. So, but I mean, there's another part of me that really wants Ole Miss to win it all just to stick it to Lane Kiffin, but I think Miami rides that momentum from dethroning the national champs. So I got to go with the U. So let's get on to the last one.
Friday night at 7:30 on ESPN, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The number 1 seed, the Indiana Hoosiers, squaring off against the number 5 seed, the Oregon Ducks. All Big Ten matchup. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath, and Katie George will be on the call. And just like Miami, Indiana opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. I'm very surprised that it's not Chris and Herbie. I thought this would have been their game, but it is what it is. But it may not be their game, but MF, this is most assuredly our game. I mean, Oregon, Indiana, Ewan Bullock had the game in October in Eugene when Indiana stunned Oregon. And that's when this magical run for Indiana began. So we get the rematch here. Oregon, Indiana, in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on Friday night. The Herbie to my Chris Fowler. Do that thing I like. Hello, friends.
And I believe this is Indiana. I think Indiana will win again. Look, everybody did not think that Indiana was going to do what they did to Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Anthony, we were there. We witnessed it. And we saw an absolute destruction. That was by far the best performance Indiana has given. And they are the team of destiny. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. When you're the second losingest franchise in the history of college football, and now you are 2 wins away from immortality as a national champion, there's no doubt in my mind that this team is a team of destiny. Last year may have been a fluke. There's no fluke with this squad. They are the true number 1 team in the nation, and they dominated. Now, Dan Lanning and the boys in Oregon is going to try to do something. But if this turns into a track meet, if this turns into a shootout, Indiana is gonna they can go strength for strength. Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner, yardage-wise, did not play a great game, but he didn't need to play a great game. The defense won the day over Alabama. Alabama had no answers for Indiana. And if that's the way they're going to play it, this is without a doubt the most complete team going into the college football playoff. Indiana wins and goes to the national championship game. They're going to Miami and the Hard Rock on the 19th for the title. Michael Bullock, it's yours. I got Indiana winning.
Yeah, I got Indiana winning this one as well. I mean, yeah, I mean, Oregon will definitely give them some fits, but the thing is, Indiana's just riding, especially after what they did to Alabama. I mean, they not only beat them, they dominated them in every facet of the game, and it was just impressive. And I think it's going to continue. So I got Indiana winning this one. So, Florio, you got the final say.
Indiana dominated Alabama 38-3 in the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential. The Hoosiers are the lone unbeaten team remaining in the FBS, and second-year coach Kirk Cignetti has the Hoosiers 1 win away from playing for a national championship. Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza went 14 of 16 for 192 yards, 3 touchdowns in the blowout win against the Crimson Tide. Oregon shut out number 5 seed Texas Tech 23-0 in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Coach Dan Lanning is making his first college football playoff semifinal appearance as the Ducks coach, and the combination of efficient play from quarterback Dante Moore and a defense that forced 4 turnovers against the Red Raiders has been tough to beat. The Ducks made the BCS title game in 2011 and the inaugural college football playoff championship game in 2015. Indiana defeated Oregon 30-20 at Autzen Stadium on October 11. Will the Hoosiers win the rematch at a neutral site? Indiana Oregon 2 has all the makings of an instant classic, and it starts with the quarterback matchup. Mendoza threw a fourth quarter pick 6 to freshman Brandon Finney Jr. in the last meeting, but the Heisman winner bounced back to lead the game-winning drive. According to Pro Football Focus, Mendoza was 5 of 11 for 73 yards on passes of 10 yards or more. Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper Jr., and Charlie Becker all caught touchdown passes in the Rose Bowl. Finney had 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery against Texas Tech. Still, Indiana might get the ball out of Mendoza's hands early in this matchup. Same could be said for Oregon quarterback Dante Moore, who was 4 of 9 for 89 yards, a touchdown, and an interception in the same situation. Malik Benson had a 44-yard touchdown catch in the first meeting, longest catch on either side. Indiana had 6 sacks in the first meeting. Oregon only had 1. Will those trends stay the same? Moore should be better the second time around against the Hoosiers. Both teams rely on a physical running game, and Indiana remains in high gear with a tag team of Roman Hemby and Kalon Black. They combined for 26 carries for 101 yards in the first meeting, and Hemby had 2 touchdowns. Oregon running backs Jordan Davison and Noah Whittington combined for 13 carries for 86 yards. Lanning will need to stay more patient in the running game. Oregon had 1 more turnover in that matchup, and Indiana feasts on mistakes. Which disruptive defensive player is a difference maker? Indiana linebacker Aiden Fisher and Oregon linebacker Bryce Botcher combined for 24 tackles in the first meeting. Oregon safety Dylan Theinman and Indiana cornerback D'Angelo Pons are game changers in the secondary. Hoosiers are a little better on third down and creating tackles for loss, so that is another in-game trend to watch. Both defenses are playing at an elite level right now, which will put more pressure on Mendoza and Moore in a matchup that is sure to draw more than enough interest for the 2026 NFL Draft. These could be the first 2 quarterbacks selected in the draft. Oregon will have to be better on third down. They were 3 out of 14, but we know Coach Lanning will not shy away from going for it on a key fourth down situation. Will Coach Signetti do the same? Rematches are always tricky, and the Ducks defense has been solid since that first loss to the Hoosiers. And going into this, I had Indiana going all the way, and they've given me no reason to change that pick. I believe Fernando Mendoza will deliver in the clutch again in the fourth quarter, and Indiana will advance to the college football playoff championship game. 28-21, Indiana over Oregon. And with that, that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back again on Friday night, 11 p.m. following SmackDown, TXN Sports World NFL Friday. Super Wild Card Weekend. We will preview the 6 games that will make up Super Wild Card Weekend. Saturday night, hopefully, MF, Braves Fan 95, Cerebral Smack Talk, TNA Impact, Friday night SmackDown, and I know MF is going to have a special Mikey's Mindset. He's going to have the results from Wrestle Kingdom. I know he wants to address that, so we'll see how Wrestle Kingdom played out. The final match of Hiroshi Tanahashi against Kazuchika Okada. I know MF's got a lot to say about that. That'll be on Saturday. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again. Monday Night Raw, NXT, Ridiculously Raw. So that is it. So until Friday night, for the Super Wildcard edition of NFL Friday, this is Anthony Florio here. For good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, always and forever, our First Lady, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed few days. And until Friday night, for NFL Friday, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long. Bye, everybody. Bye.